All right, family, peace and blessings. Welcome to
What up?
Sunday
What
Sitting
up?
with Sisters evening edition because we had stuff to do today. Hey sis, how you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored. How are you, Sugarfoot?
I feel amazing, girl. How was your weekend?
Had a very eventful weekend and week. But yeah, it was. I went to you was with me. We went to two funerals, one Thursday, one Friday.
Hmm.
So it was a heavy weekend. Today I got to go help my homegirl be a productive assistant at her podcast, so that was good. Got to meet some new people. Somebody remembered us from Access Cable. I died laughing.
Oh my
He thought
God.
I was you. Are you Rolanda? I'm like, no. Okay, so you were the shorter one. Hurt my feelings a little bit because I think I'm tall in my head. He was like, you were the shortest one. He was what did he say? He was the sound something, some engineer at Access Cable.
Oh
I was like,
wow, he
wow,
taking
like
it way back.
yeah, so I must look the same though, because that was that was 20 plus years ago, probably 30. So I must look the same. So I'll take it.
Wow.
How
So
was
let
your
me,
week, baby?
it was great because I was with you. Of course, we had two funerals to go to, one here in Sac and one here and one in LA. What okay, so one of the funerals was like Afrocentric black I don't know what you would call those kind of people. Artists,
Yeah.
maybe
Hmm.
artists, the artist community, because the person was
Yeah.
a poet as well.
Artist. Yes. Yeah.
That kind
Yeah.
of people, a singer and then an entrepreneur, like, and then the other one were like Los Angeles OG, but connected to the Deep South, which is how they got to California. What did you think
So
about the
rooted.
two funerals? Because usually black folks we don't talk funerals, but we probably should because most of us don't have no damn life insurance. Only thing we talk about funerals is people doing car washes and shit so we can bury people. But what was your thought
It
on
was.
that?
They were told. You could tell one was rooted in Christianity because it was like protocol follow at the one we went to in LA. It was in a church and it was like kind of protocol. So it kind of flowed a little bit differently, and the message was different. The Afrocentric and what's good about the LA one, people knew each other's grandparents and parents
Yeah,
from like the 60s and the 50s. So you got to get the history of who the people were. And it was something else. It was
and how they
my
and how
husband
they
got
got
to
there.
connect with some friends he hasn't seen in like 30 years. So that alone was worth the trip. That was really, really, but there's some bitter niggas in church. The Lord Jesus, don't bury me. Don't have my service at no church. Please don't do it. Um, and the sister Cleo's funeral was very calming. It was a very calm service. Even the music, the singer sang a cappella, was very calming. Her service was very calming. And she looked. I know people didn't say this, but the way they had her adorned in her casket, Cleo looked
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Vivid.
She looked beautiful. So it was that was my first time at that type of funeral, but it was interesting. And
You
Imhotep did an awesome job. I loved his
Yes, you
story he
did.
did about the visitor was grief and came with friends, frustration and anger. And then when everybody she was uninvited, brought all her friends along, anger, depression, frustration. But then when she left, the only friend that stayed was love. I thought that was he did a good job.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
So,
did.
what was your observation? Because I know you
You
done
know
been
what?
every funeral. Dr. Khalid, you done been there. You done been a
Yeah, I
Muslim. We done
sure
been
have.
Muslim funerals, Christian funerals,
You know,
everything. So, what was your
I,
take
I
on it?
just feel like, first of all, I think both of them were equally beautiful. This is my
Hmm.
honest opinion. But, just because I just think when I see bitter black women, I know how our communities are. So it's a wonder that we ain't as bitter. And sometimes I can present bitter,
Right.
like when I cuss your ass out when
Yeah.
you try to tell me what to think. You know what I
Ooh.
mean? Like, I just feel like, and some of us learned how to, as people say, we clean up easily, that we present well. But
No,
everybody don't didn't get
yeah,
that lesson to present well. My mom hated for you to be looking like this. So I have a
yeah.
habit of like being the more I try to like be light, so I can
Hmm.
be readily approachable. They're equally beautiful. I felt like I absolutely loved the music that was sung at the Christian church because I don't know about you, Khadijah. I ain't talking about. Well, I like the lady who got up and was not supposed to sing but sang anyway. She made me feel
Right
like
in
I was
Alabama,
down south. I started rocking
girl,
like
I
I
felt like
thought
I
we
was
was
in the
getting ready
color
to tear the
purple and
church
stuff, and
up.
I was,
Yeah.
yes,
So because what
yes.
I believe, this is my honest to God truth. I believe that when black people sing spirituals or gospels or whatever you want to call it, something happens to us. There's something in the translation that
That's why
moves
it's
your
called a
spirit.
Negro spiritual because it
Yeah.
moves your spirit. That's
But you
where it
know what
comes
I mean?
from.
It's a
Absolutely.
universal thing because you don't have to, because I'm not a Christian.
Hmm.
You don't have to be. But for me, it's
That's why
like,
I said spiritual.
yeah, it was like when that lady was singing, I could not just sit there and not get on my feet and be like, because it's something about the soul and the spirit that still comes through no matter. I always see this in the church. I'm not trying to be funny, except for the
And for
time
me,
we
it's
was.
the vibration in their voice. It's the way they pronounce they. It's the feeling that they have with the word, and the words are relatable. She was singing stuff that we can relate to as a
Yes,
people,
yes,
regardless of you. If you were high class, middle class, and you could relate to
yeah.
that. It was yeah. It was yeah. I agree
And it
with you.
also remind me of the time when, just to give you an example, like how it's something that speaks to our experience of who we are as a black people in America. Like when I hear certain words, it generates something in me that I can't deny it because I'm not afraid of being black and I'm not embarrassed by being black. I'm not ashamed of anything that happened with my ancestors. I'm just not.
That's
But
right.
it reminded me one time I went to East Bay Church of Religion Science in the Bay Area, and Melba Moore was filming some. Maybe she was in a production in Frisco, and one of the stage persons or whatever that worked behind stage befriended her and brought her to church, and she got up there and she sang a song by Mahalia Jackson. And now the church is
Mm,
non-denominational, everybody and their mama in there, white people, Chinese people, a
mm-hmm.
lot of black people, gay people, straight people. When I tell you, when Melba Moore hit that note, because I didn't know she had pipes like that, she's so little. When I tell you, all the black people in the church stood up and started
Mm,
waving, and then the white people was like, what the hell just happened? And there's no way of explaining that because, we're all trying to
a
have this
spiritual
spiritual
connection.
experience. But there was something
Mm-hmm.
she was saying that in our spirit as black people, we was like, whoa, what the, whoa. Like everybody just popped out their seat, the black
Jump to your
people.
feet. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I felt like
Mm-hmm.
that in the church when the lady was singing. I didn't even see any of the grouchy ass people. Like there was some, even when the minister was singing Blessed Assurance, even though I was trying to follow him, he was on long ass riffs. It was still something very soulful when that to me was the whole sermon. He didn't even have to talk after doing them long riffs like that. Because even when we
Mm-hmm.
hum, there is something in the vibration of the hum that we can't deny.
Brother Wangon, good evening to you, and you may absolutely
Um,
share this.
yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yes. So that's all. I just thought it was like
And peace, Tina
funerals to me
McLean.
are just as sacred as weddings, as people being, the way you put people away speaks to your community. So be
I
very,
agree.
one thing I will say about the black church, then the spiritual entrepreneur type of people, is that they had a whole protocol and everybody knew it.
That's what I'm saying.
Even
Yeah.
when people got up to do the lecture, do their acknowledgements. I love the way the
2 minute
older
remarks.
black man went over and said, we're going to pick these people and that's it. And you only got 2 minutes. And then the piano guy came in with the like a phone call. Like if you went over too much, it was funny as hell. But it was
Yeah,
just like,
it was,
that's one
yeah.
thing I love about black churches. When they want to be organized, they could organize some shit.
And I felt as if it was a homegoing celebration. They were celebrating his life.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
yeah. It was,
yes.
yeah, I
So
didn't
yeah,
even cry.
me either, Khadijah. But I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
didn't
The
make me
lady
want to
was singing
cry.
and I
I
was
felt,
standing up. I felt something come over me because I think it's just the energy
yeah.
of them. Because anybody can
But
relate to whatever they believe in, feeling good about it. Like, thank you, creator, whatever
and
you call it,
exactly.
for looking over me. Yes, you can relate to that. That
Mm-hmm.
woman's voice was fucking
Absolutely.
beautiful. Her voice was like
Yes.
angelic. I felt
It
like
was
going
so
up for altar
crisp and
call. I wasn't gonna
clear.
do it though.
It was
But I mean, it's
it
just
was so
because it
crisp
moves you
and
like
clear.
that. And I'm black. I'm black in America. I've been to churches from here to wherever. And it's just something about the way.
Mhm.
And sometimes I feel sorry. I'm gonna be honest, no disrespect to nobody. I feel sorry for black people who don't have that black experience. Because
Mhm.
that's what saved us from killing people.
Now let me ask you this: do you think the black churches in America are distinct? Let me how am I put this? The black churches in America, people that are immigrants can't relate if they're
Okay,
not a
so
black American to some of our.
true.
This is a
I'm gonna
question
give
for
you,
you.
I'm gonna give you a true story. Because I'm gonna answer your question with a true story. I was in Ghana.
Okay.
I went to
Hmm.
Ghana once. I've been to Ghana several times. But the first time I went to Ghana, I went to a Ghanaian church, and I just feel like Christianity in Africa, even in Latin America, even in the Caribbean islands, I've been, it's like an imitation of what we do here. But I think what people don't understand about black people in America with Christianity, we've been through some real shit that we really used that religious that was forced upon
To
us. I'll
get
tell
us
you, I
through
don't
it.
really give a damn.
Hell yeah.
We took it and we do what we do with it. So
This
when we sing and people be falling out, that's real right there.
because we did have somebody pass out.
Yes, we did.
That is so true.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's something that you can't deny that. And so I've seen Africans in particular from the continent. One time I went to church and they were signing people up for the Holy Ghost. I was like, hold fuck up. Nobody signs up
Wait,
for the
hold
Holy
on.
Ghost.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What?
How do you sign up for the? That's
They
when
were
you
signing
said
people
sign
up
up
for the
for the
Holy
Holy
Ghost.
Ghost.
Yes, I'm not
Wait,
kidding. This was
that's
in
like
Ghana.
somebody trying to make you go down. Like
But I
I'm not.
think
I've been
they
to church before, and
emulate
people pray
things
over you and
because
try to push you down.
yeah, but I think they emulate things because to them being a Christian or being a
Oh, y'all, we
Muslim
got
is a
Queen First Lady Katana Burrell on here. Hey,
hey.
beautiful Queen. That's Delbert's wife.
Yes, hi sis. I can't see the comments. I don't know what's going on my damn
I
computer.
know.
But what I will say is, I feel like in America we've been through something, and that's why our
Absolutely.
Christianity don't look like nobody else's. I've been to church in South
This
Africa.
Christianity.
I've been to church in Ghana, Nigeria. Lord, let me tell you how ridiculous Nigeria was. People had like "Thou shalt not beat thy wife" bar, praise the Lord. Harris. I said, what the fuck? See, that's a costume. Black people do stuff
Oh
in
wow.
religion. It's because we've been through something, and people see us because
Mm-hmm.
we're the most seen Africans all over the planet. Or black folks as African Americans, so people emulate us, but they don't understand that. Come like when that lady was singing in the church, Khadijah, I felt the presence of my mother. Because my mother would listen
Oh
to that, and it
yeah.
would move her through mountains. And now I'm old enough to understand what she was singing about in the kitchen while she was cooking and praying.
Come on.
You understand
Come
what I'm saying?
on.
So I understood.
Heck yeah.
I don't think I'm not saying immigrants don't have spiritual. I'm just saying for black folks, it looked different. And you ain't never, when that minister got up and said, blessing, and he hit that hum, I said, it's all
Ooh.
over. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was done. I was just like, look here, whatever he
And
gonna say, it's gonna be good. Listen to this man.
come on.
It's just we
Come on.
don't that
Hmm.
yeah. And they were from the South. Let's
I
give them
think
a
I
word for
think it's distinctly. I think we've been through
yeah.
some things in America, black people, and we just worship different. We had come from a different
Yeah.
part of worshiping because of our experience. And I think I know our mama took Christianity, and it wasn't the whitewashed Christianity. It
No,
was
it
to
really
get me
wasn't.
through these hard times.
That's
I
right.
don't want to cut nobody's throat. I got some trials and tribulations and some things
Right
to overcome.
on.
And Christianity and her spirituals. That's what it's called because they lift your spirit.
That's
Got
right.
my mama through some times, y'all.
See, that's
So
really
yeah,
spirituals are
that's
really different from gospels. Don't get from
hymns.
gospel. It's a little different. I'm not trying
Hmm.
to be funny. Spirituals, like
Hmm.
you could hum and it could be a spiritual. Look here, I'm
Come
gonna just
on.
tell you how deep it is for black folks in America. I remember going to Akba's funeral and going
Hmm.
to the burial. Do you remember when that sister sang the call of prayer? It did not
Oh,
sound like
yes.
Arabs.
Sound like the call of person. No,
It
she
sounded
has
like
some rhythm
we
in
was in
that.
church. But she was
Yes, I
doing the
do
call
remember
of
that.
prayer in Arabic, but she was hitting them notes like you would hit in church.
Yes.
And that's why I was like, yeah, this
Mhm.
we do stuff differently. I'm sorry. It's that energy that comes through. Now I do think sometimes
Absolutely.
people have been frustrated with religion because we do a lot of fuckery in the name of God instead of just saying, I'm a human and I'm gonna screw up, but
I
please don't,
messed up.
this is not a reflection of God. We don't know how to
Don't
say
put it
that, so
together.
we'll use
Absolutely.
God to shield what we just did that was dirty. Instead of just being like,
Mhm.
this has nothing to do with God. I know
I
a lot,
messed
of
up.
people now,
Mhm.
but this is me
Yep.
as a man. You
I
know what I'm
agree.
saying? So I just feel like I think sometimes we throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, like I can go to
Absolutely.
church and get the message and be like, I'm gonna follow everything the person said because I get messages. Babies give you messages. Children give you
Say
messages.
that again.
Like messages come,
Real
but
talk.
I just feel like sometimes we be so pissed off at the behavior of the person that's leading, or that we built up in our mind on a pedestal.
I'm
That
about to
when
say
they
that you
fall
made
to
a leader.
grace,
Absolutely.
yeah, then we want to act like this the white man's religion. All of this shit comes from out of the soul of black man and black woman. That's what I was always taught.
Mhm.
Every known religion
Very true.
you can make up, we at the root of it. That's a fact. I didn't make that
Mhm.
up. So for me, I really,
Absolutely.
it always gives me a refresher. Like going to funerals, I just felt a lot of gratitude. Like, and look how diverse, because black people are still trying to find their way. But I will say, I do think we are struggling somewhat with an identity crisis. Like we don't even know how to
Most
hold on to
definitely.
the things that our ancestors, even though they may not have known certain things, they knew enough that they were able to make it over. We got all this information. We can't build a tent
Can't
in
get
the
nowhere.
backyard fully loaded
Real
already.
talk.
We couldn't even
No, that's
recognize it
real talk.
because we're fighting us being able to do the work so you could live as your ancestors did. You know what I mean? Think about your mama, your
But people,
grandmama.
some people say, and some people feel like saying ancestors is a scary thing. Like that's not a ghost. We have ancestors.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, we
that
do.
just lets
You
me know
couldn't
that's
even
an
be
ignorant
here.
person. But
You
we
couldn't even
have
be here. Yeah,
ancestors.
yeah, you couldn't be here
They
if
said,
you didn't have
I don't got
ancestors.
time for that ancestor stuff. And I'll be like, the
I
ancestors
just
is
think
your
that's a
roots, boo.
person that
That's
is
your
maybe a little.
bloodline.
So listen, that may be a person that's dealing with a little ignorance. Now look, I know some brilliant ignorant people. And so
Mhm.
the white man love his ancestors. They own a dollar. They got more
Mm.
monuments to their ancestors who were some of them were monsters. But they're not
Mhm.
gonna let you because you don't know who your ancestors are and what they really went through.
So.
I can never deny
Mhm.
my ancestors ever. I could never. That
Mm.
it's because of my ancestors that I am who I am. When I feel like I
Latanya
want
says
to,
some people.
oh, sorry, go
Latanya
ahead.
says some people truly don't know. Very true. Some
Yeah,
people
no, they
truly
really,
don't
really
know.
don't know. Cause
Yep.
man, it's just look here. I'm just saying. I just feel like I don't know about you. When I was growing up, I remember our mom having certain people's pictures on the fireplace. This is on the east in the West Coast
Mhm.
here, and 18th Street, and then she would have like certain pictures of people. I didn't really know who they were, but the ancestors
Mhm.
usually put them up in your house because you like there's memories that come to that. You learn things from them coming
Absolutely.
up. You know, when times are hard,
Absolutely.
we know how to make it through hard times because we watch our mom do it like it was an art form. So
Absolutely.
nothing can really tear me down.
We was
But
going through hard times and didn't even know they was hard times.
hello,
It wasn't until I got older and was like, we was poor as hell. But growing up, I just felt my mom provided what she had to do. I didn't feel like we were poor. We may have been
yeah,
poor in monetary, but was very rich in spirituality. And mom was very spiritual, so we was very rich in spirituality. Maybe that's why we wasn't, so subjected to certain things because we was really grounded in our spirituality.
yeah,
Period.
and our
And mom
mama didn't say
forced
that.
church on us. Yeah, she didn't force church. We
She
went,
didn't.
but she let us have our own relationship with God. So we got to,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's why now I
and
can go to church and I don't have no problem with it. I can go to church and sitting there. I prefer Bible study because I really like to learn some things. I don't always, and it depends on what pastor, because sometimes all that yelling give me a headache. I ain't gonna lie. I like to get the lesson. I like to get the lesson. You know what I mean? Because it's church to me is about teaching somebody a lesson to help you get through your week so you come back again Sunday. You know what I
right.
mean? And so I want to really go get the lesson to help me get through it. I don't want to hear all
I
that
agree.
acting.
I agree.
I don't
Well,
like performative
hold on.
Christianity.
Let me ask you this because I've had the experience in Sacramento. My earring got stuck on my ring. Okay, so I had the experience in Sacramento of going to a white church because my friend is Nigerian and he goes to like
Mhm.
a. When I asked him why he switched churches, he said that the church started bringing in like other people and not races, like sexualities, and he said he left because that's not what he does. Like that's not how he sees God. Like he don't want to be challenged and all
Mhm.
that. Okay, so I
Mhm.
go to the white church. We was in church for maybe like an hour and a half. They
Mhm.
had the man up on the stage, looked like John Denver, singing one or two hymns on his guitar. No, then that's it. The man got up because I guess they go all the way through the Bible. Like each week they do whatever, like a
They come
chapter
from a
or
lesson.
verse or what.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then the man broke it down like if he almost like he was lecturing. I understood everything he said. To be
Mhm.
very honest with you, Khadijah, I followed
Mhm.
everything he said and understood it for once in my life. Not trying to be funny. And then afterwards, they passed the bucket around. They said some people have already paid their tithes. So they didn't beg a long time because these white people have a commitment to keeping their church going. So they paid their money already.
Mhm.
Anything else was just kind of extra. And then the man, John Denver, got up there and did one more song, and then we were out. Now,
Follow this
mind you,
man.
the
Yep.
African that I was with when I was there, when I tell you this man sang louder than the whole choir or whoever, I was like, dude, like calm your ass down. Like, I'm embarrassed because we don't one out of three black people in the whole church. But all the white people made it their business to stop by and say hi and tell me how much they loved my outfit and good to see you and to my friend and when I asked him why he chose that church, he said because talking to God don't take all day. I have things to do.
I'm
Which
not trying to be funny.
yeah, but he
That's
said
why
I
I don't
said
mind visiting. That's why I don't mind visiting. I'm gonna give you a shout out, Brother Burrell, St. Mark Mystery Baptist Church. They'll
go
get
ahead.
in there, give you the word, and you out. You ain't in church
Yeah,
for
that's
four
what he
hours.
said.
You ain't there
I'm
till
about
the
to
sun
take
start
him
going
to.
down. They'll give you that word. You get a little bit of music, of course,
No,
and
I
but
love the
he give you
music.
that word, and then you out of there. It's not all day. It's not all day. Yeah, yeah, I can get with
Now,
that. I agree
now,
with that.
yeah. Now I will say that I did miss the music part. It's just something I love the music part. I do. I love the. Now sometimes I struggle to stay up when the minister is preaching until you get to the end and that organ coming. He be like, "Dun-dun-dun," and you get that. Then I'm awake because I'm like, okay, now we got energy
Dum
back at
dum
the
dum dum
church. So,
dum 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 dum
right,
dum
yeah,
dum dum dum.
all that's like a theatrical because
I,
it's
I
designed to make you be like, yeah,
yeah.
tell
You
it,
know, when we listen to music that's
amen.
not church music and a certain beat drop, we all get on our feet. Same thing
You
in
sure
church.
the
They
hell
know what
do.
the
You
organist
sure
is
do.
really good at what they do. That organist was good. I mean, they
Oh
know what they do.
man.
What's our
I never
topic?
know nobody could do the
What's our
ringtone like that on a piano. I ain't never
That
seen
was
that.
very creative. What's our first topic for the night, sis?
All right, sis. So okay, so while we're talking about messaging, y'all don't go nowhere. Hit that like button, of course. But well, I'm getting ready to show y'all. Y'all want y'all to hear the message. I gotta hear what y'all think about this. Like all jokes aside, let me. I'm doing engineering, but when you sent this to me, we were supposed to go this last week, but we're gonna hit on some stuff. Hold on, share. Let me see if I can find which one this is. Not that one.
You kill me looking up them
Not that
glasses like
one.
this.
Girl,
Oh,
because
crack
I'm
me up.
old, child. Okay, hold on, wait. No, not that.
Uh,
Did I? Maybe it's up here. Hold on. Yep, there he goes. Okay, here we go. Can you see this, brother? Let me take this off.
Ladies out there, I'm going to tell you right now, some of these men talking to you to get to your daughter, to get to your son. Some of these men be going through your Facebook page, your TikTok page, looking at your daughter, looking at your son, and they'll talk to you. You think that man wants you, he wants your daughter. He wants your son. I'm telling you, he'll get in good with you. You fall in love with that man. You believe everything that man say. And when your daughter say, mama, that man looking at me, you think your daughter lying. Oh, you don't want me to have nobody. When your son tell you, you don't believe it. Because you so in love with that man and you think your kids don't like that man, that's the reason why they talking about him. I'm telling you, these men be doing stuff to your kids. And before long, it's going to show. When your kids start getting bruised up, when your kid run away from home, you're going to find out that the whole time that man been messing with your kids. And they ran away because they didn't feel safe around you and him. Ladies out there,
All right, Khadidras,
he's
what's
spot on.
y'all
That's why I sent
thoughts?
it to
Please
you.
share in the comments. I'm gonna see what's going on with these damn comments. Why I can't
Tasha
see
said,
them, but
Lord have mercy. What's up, Tasha? He's spot on. He's spot on. Like I said before, I worked in the JSO program for 15 years with juvenile sex offenders. And the majority of those young boys that were in juvenile sex offenders, I work with the boys, were molested by a mom's boyfriend or a dad's girlfriend. And so a lot of those young boys in there had been sexually assaulted and abused by the mates of their parents. So he's spot the hell on. And I hear people right now today when a child would tell them something about a man, like the man said, "You jealous of me," because a lot of black women unfortunately have daddy issues and lack thereof, and so they're in competition with their daughters and their sons. So when a daughter is coming to tell them something about their man, they feel like the daughter don't want them to be happy, or they want their man. So absolutely, he's spot on. Spot on. I don't even like none of the new age dating. Thank God I'm married. I couldn't meet nobody off Facebook. You don't know who the hell you getting. So I like to see some people know their background, know their family. Not that that eliminates people, but just a little, you don't know who you getting when these people come find you, and people put all their business on social media. So when you can put your daughter on there in her bikini because she look cute, you got your daughter walking around the crop tops and she's 5 years old. You turning somebody on. He don't want you. He want his kids. That was very, very accurate to me. Very.
yeah.
Um, Katana said, "True story. There are a lot of sick individuals. Yes, very much so. And it's what's so sad now that I'm realizing what people don't understand. A lot of them now run programs. You guys, a lot of these predators when they were younger, who was 23 years old messing with a 15-year-old and a 14-year-old. Now they're running organizations for the youth. They're running organizations to help you with your kids. It's not one person that I know does used to do pop-ups and he'd be singing inappropriate songs to the kids. What the hell are you doing? Didn't want none of the grown women. He was in the young people face more than anything. A lot of these predators now run programs to help the youth and they're really grooming them a lot. Tasha said, I have a commitment with my kids that I will not allow anyone in the home until they are established on their own. I know that's right.
My
I
mother
know
was
that's
like
right,
that.
Tasha.
Our mother was like
Yeah,
that.
my mom was. Hmm.
Now, case in
Yep.
point, you heard what the brother just said. Now, this is Mr. Polite. I'm not calling him Brother Polite. I've been in this company a few times. If you're ever in New York and you on 125th Street at the Apollo, across street from the Apollo, you'll see a whole bunch of dudes like Brother Polite. They out there debating on knowledge, whatever. So I've ran into him a few times. I don't know him
So-called
personally.
conscious community.
Yeah. So this man just got convicted of being basically a sex offender. He's gonna do 7 years and 10 years probation. He's gonna pay restitution to the tune of 2,500, $25,000 is what he gonna pay the person. But this was a girl and her mom. Now here's the real truth. And I got his picture up here because I want y'all to see what this fool looked like. And he see, my thing is when it comes to because black people have such identity issues. Anybody who says any deep words, I think that's what happened last week when the person was trying to check me about somebody being famous and being on the Breakfast Club and Don Juan on the Breakfast Club. He's a pimp. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, our protection of black men is almost is now that it's dangerous because you can't even see a predator because you see a black man that you feel like you act like you they protector, but they don't protect you. And so this goes back in history of conscious so-called people fucking with underage girls, whether if it's Elijah Muhammad. We can go on down the list. The respect.
Answer El Muhammad's.
And so, yeah, Sam. I mean, you know. So my thing is, it's the way we protect these people in our community because I bet you there's R. Kelly. Like there were women down at the jailhouse supporting R. Kelly when we seen this man do all kind of shit to an underage girl. I know some of y'all see young girls and think they're grown ass women because you really don't. Oh, that's the clip I gotta find. You really don't have any respect for females, for girls. You see her as your competition. Hell, you may see the girl as yourself, which is why you're protecting the predator so hard. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So this
absolutely.
Can you read this comment that the person wrote the brother Polite? Can you see
which one? The top one?
Yes, his brother
Polite is a sex offender. He is a sexual predator. He's a fraud. He's a monster. He's a con artist. He's a rapist. He's an opportunist. 7 years ain't enough. Enabling this is the one. Enabling this is the one you love. So we ain't speaking on it. This imposter, this fake conscious crook, he was never about the people, always about self. This is the man you donated to with his conscious lies. What a gimmick. Let's clean house. All these fraudulent ones gotta go. I agree 120%.
I do too, but I also think that means the person who wrote it. Because sometimes when I find people who be so quick to call this man a predator, this is about behavior. You should ask yourself, black man, do you have these behaviors?
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying because I feel like cleaning house means for you to clean yourself. We have a lot of black men in our town that used to be pimps and drug dealers and hustlers. What I learned this from Tupac. Tupac said I could never be a drug dealer because he had a conscience and he could never sell drugs to somebody. He said I wasn't hard enough to do that because he came from a conscious background, even though he fell into some shit later on. But he said the guy was saying you have to have a certain mindset to do stuff like that to people. And I just
you don't think these certain people can be redeemed because that's what people say. One brother I caught out on his predatory ways told me why I'm always bringing up his background because you affect a lot of people's futures. That's why I'm gonna bring up your fucking background. That's why I'm gonna remind you every time of what you've done.
They should not be around children. They themselves. That's kind of like when you're a recovering drug addict. Do you go hang out in a crack house? Do you go back to the neighborhood that you did all the crack at? Do you do that? And the answer is probably no, because I'm trying to be clean. See, I feel like this sexual predator shit is a disease, as y'all like to call it, just like people being on crack. That's why you can't have certain people. When you're a convicted sex offender, you can't go work where there's children. You can't be within like 25 feet of something of a school or some shit. But there's people. I remember when I lived on Troon and the man got released from prison and I came home, there was a letter on my door and they was telling me that this man is convicted. Well, I tell you that they got that man out of the neighborhood so goddamn fast because we had like 3 retired sheriffs that lived on that block. It was like his ass got to go. Now, the lady put her house up for sale and got ghosts. Do you know what community has more sexual offenders in Sacramento? You know, you could go on the Megan Law website and they could tell you the communities that have the most. What area you think had more sex offenders in it? Well, this was some years back, so I don't know if it may have changed nowadays. It was the El Paso Heights and Oak Park. Those were the number 1 and 2 on the list. Well, who live in those areas?
Black folks.
You mean to tell me that black men can't control their penis? Like
but predators always target places they know they're going to be successful. And so the 2 areas that you named, because I worked the JSR program for 15 years, they only target people where they know they're going to be successful. So they go after the communities that are where the women are unprotected, where the children are unprotected, and where they will be successful. And they will get with women who allow them to groom their children Some women will let the boyfriend sleep with with their children so they won't leave them.
Please, please
I've had
stop.
those
Don't
type of
say that.
people in
That's
my
not true. Is
program.
that true?
We people that the mom get convicted and the boyfriend because the mom knew he was having sex with the daughter. Daughter got pregnant, by her man. DNA test came back and all that, so the kids got removed. But the mom knew it because she
That's
didn't want to
crazy
lose
as
her man.
hell.
So
That's
she allowed
crazy
her
as hell.
child to be molested by her, raped by her boyfriend. So we got some work to do, black people. And we can't act like it doesn't happen. When we see these young girls running away that they meet somebody on Facebook or on social media one day, the next day they gone, they running from something. Because if you in a loving environment, ain't that much game in the world gonna make you leave somewhere where you feel safe. Ain't that much game in the world. Those young girls because they feel unsafe where they are and there's shit going on and they gotta go. Tasha said the sad part about this is that he masked himself as a writer, motivational speaker, reformer, and people gravitated to this thinking that he is pure when he is not. You're right, Tasha.
No, and I agree, but
You're right.
let me just say this though. And I agree with you, Tasha. I agree, but I also know we gotta stop just because somebody says something out their mouth don't mean that they're good people. Like
A lot of people like
we don't even investigate
some
people.
people like that lip service.
Yes.
Some people likes what sounds good. Even if you know it's bullshit, it sounds good. It'd be like a brother you know is unemployed and he tell you so beautiful. And then you know this nigga's not a good match for you. You know y'all can't build nothing together. But everything he's saying sounds so good. That's why a lot of these people that run like him, they got a mouthpiece. They know how to say the right things. The people that have low self-esteem, who lacking some self-love, they know exactly what to say to win them over to make them believable.
Yeah.
Exactly. He is not even vetted. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
I
But if
had
you
no idea
see
who
him in
this is. Tina
but he
McClain says she
also
has no
comes from
idea who this
Dr.
is.
York. I'm just saying he's also a student of Dr. York, who was also convicted like 175 years of life or some shit for
Mhm.
molesting children over decades. That's his student.
Yep.
And he was convicted in 2003. Now we what? This 2023, his students being 20
20
years
years
later.
on.
But because we don't
And
do homework, we don't do
it's gonna be
research.
somebody after him that
I
he
know.
mentored because it becomes something that's to be expected. It's something that that's allowed in their cipher. So after him it's gonna be somebody else that he mentored for 4 or 5, whatever years in a few years gonna come out with some more shit. Just
Well,
like R. Kelly is not by himself. A lot of
I
people that
agree.
was in that studio watching them piss on people and everything else. R. Kelly's not the only one. He just took the brunt of it. But it's a whole bunch of people that should be locked up with his ass, including his ex-wife Andrea. I'm so tired of seeing her with them damn leotards on all the time dancing. A lot of them people need to be locked up. He's not by himself. Predators usually run in packs because you need somebody to cover your tracks. So when predators hang with
Indeed.
predators,
And they usually have a groomer. They always have a woman that's in on the plan.
absolutely, yep,
Because man
absolutely.
can't complete nothing by itself. He's just not that brilliant. I'm not trying to be funny. Women, we the
Mhm.
oil in the machine. We make everything, we make sure everything goes where it's supposed to go and keeps running. So I seen this and was like, wow, like I just feel like, and I'm glad I'm seeing some black men talk about it. But I'm saying, look, because I really think some of this is in men's behavior. Like it seemed like, and I only can speak of black men because I don't know white people like that. I'm not concerned with
Mhm.
white people are doing. I'm with black folks.
Mhm.
Okay, so I just don't want to do that. But my thing is, I've been in cultures. Like me and my sisters both been around a lot of type of people. There is this thing where women are seen as the floor and men are the ceiling. And this is not men thinking. This is women who back up men like that. So if we go down the list, it's easy to get black men on some kind of sexual charge. It's like this person they don't have no self-control, and we always have 50 million excuses why they do the shit they do that we know is not healthy. So
Or
we
we
be
blame the
like,
victim.
yeah,
She
he just
dressed
being a man.
provocatively. She was
Yeah,
walking by him too much. She enticed him. All that kind of shit. Yeah.
yeah,
Tina McClain says absolutely the whole team needs to go to jail. Probably referring to R. Kelly. Tasha
yep.
says they have scouts, groomers, and the ones who commit the assault. Yep,
You better say that.
absolutely.
You better say that.
Yeah.
And I really think this is my truth. I'm talking about black people. I think our identity has everything to do with why we keep following trifling motherfuckers. I'm just gonna be honest. We can go back to history and we will follow you instead of being like, you know what? I read books by people all the time. I meet them in person and realize how crazy they are. I'll be like, that's some good information, but I cannot follow this person to the bathroom. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
thank you. Sometimes knowledge come through people. That don't mean you're supposed to follow them.
Yeah,
Unless I can go
just
to
the
church
vessel to
with
get
the
your word.
minister and be like, I
Just the
hear all this
vessel.
stuff about him. not here. I've seen some stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I'd be like, you know what? He can preach a word, but God damn it, you can't follow this man. Like now you gotta have common sense. I ain't, you know what I'm talking about. We were somewhere before and something wasn't feeling right. We got up politely and got the hell out of there.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when people start talking to the club? It's like, what the hell's going on
Absolutely.
here?
Yeah.
We got to go. We didn't sit
Katina,
there like no dummies and follow people. No. Go ahead.
Sister Katina said this is definitely horrible on his part, hands down. But we have to do the real work on ourselves as women. We have to minister to ourselves to build ourselves up, so we don't feel like the bottom of the barrel is okay and acceptable. Like you said, we have work to do. Let's build. Yep. And then
Yeah.
and both of y'all are right. It absolutely comes from lack of identity in ourselves. That's why
I'm telling you.
That's why we can fall victim to people like brother Mr. Polite. That's why these things are reoccurring, because we're not really comfortable with ourselves. It's lack of self-love and self-respect for some black women, and that's why creeps like this can come in and have their way with people.
Well, listen, I'm gonna give you a good example. When you say work on ourselves, sis, I'm gonna agree with you 100%. I'm gonna show this little short part of the video. I'm gonna do the whole thing. Here is a man telling his baby mama, "Do not let my daughter sit on her uncle's lap." Listen to this.
Ever in your life have my daughter sit on your uncle's lap again, dude?
First of all, don't you ever in your motherfucking life come and be like that.
What you mean, dude?
You
You heard what she said?
don't sit down. That's your uncle.
What you mean? That's her. Listen, don't let my listen. Don't
Okay,
let
we
my
always
daughter
seen
sit
the
on
fuck
no
right
man
there. What is you on?
Don't let my daughter sit on no man lap. What is your problem?
Oh no, what the fuck is you on with me and my uncle? Why'd you over sexualizing that
That's my
shit?
daughter.
We
dude.
all sitting right there. Like, what
Listen,
the fuck is you on?
she's a girl. She shouldn't be sitting on no man lap. What are you talking about?
You is tripping, man, for real.
How am I tripping, dude? I don't play that. I'm a
Because
daddy. I
that
don't
shit
play
is
that,
crazy
man.
as the motherfucker.
I don't play that, dude. Seriously, dude. I do not play that, dude. For real, dude. Don't let that shit happen again. I don't see how, why can't you understand? Why can't you see it how I see it? Dude?
Okay, and why the
you?
fuck is you talking to me like that, though?
Because
When we was growing up, we
Okay.
were allowed to sit on people's laps. We had to give side hugs because we were busty women. Mom, it was a lot of rules set in place.
It
Not
sure
that they were
was.
predators. It was just ways to keep us safe. It was certain things that we had to do as women to keep ourselves safe, because you don't know what the other person is up to. We got a comment.
Get it?
P says, who would allow their 14-year-old daughter to go anywhere at 2 a.m. and to party with grown folks? Where is the accountability? Yeah.
I agree. But even if a 14-year-old went somewhere, adults have to
I
not
don't
touch
give
her.
nobody the
Yeah, don't
give
give
them the right to
permission.
assault them.
I just feel like there's a little bit of victim framing in that statement. Because if she's 14 years old, you know what I mean? It's back in the day. See, I don't know where most of y'all's from, but back in the day when older men would see younger women, when I grew up at, they'd be like, "Hey, that girl 15, go take your ass home." And you'd be like, "Oh shit, get out that grown ass man face." I grew up with people who treated it not like he was doing anything wrong, but they knew that. See, this is what I was told by no. They said
It was a code. It was a code of ethics that you have to.
human beings have sexual urges. This is how the person in space said. So you don't want to ever give anybody the opportunity to get an urge off. I didn't say to do. I said an urge off. If you sit on a man's lap and it's over his penis, I would never forget. I was doing an exercise with a brother from the nation. He was so cool, and part of it, he had to like hug this sister. It's the way he positioned his body where her booty did not touch him. He was so respectful the way he did it, and he was like, "Cause I'm a man. I'm a man." You know what I mean? And sometimes that penis has a mind of its own. I can't tell it not to erect itself. I could try. And I think sometimes when men are telling us stuff that's real talk, we want to debate him like this sister did right here. A man is telling you. That's like when women tell you something about a woman, you know, men listen. That's why they got so much game, because they get the game from the woman.
Yep. We have a comment from Tina McClain. She says, "Yep, growing up, we couldn't sit on any grown man's lap. It was considered inappropriate." Yeah, it is inappropriate to sit on. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. She's ridiculous. The father needs to step to that man. I agree.
Yeah. But here he is telling her, and then he says, "I don't understand why you don't understand." But I also feel like some of us grew up in culture where we did not get those rules, because that was something we got from our mama. Tell me where you get
and
that
the
from
other women around us. If my mama wasn't around and somebody was doing so, it's like you said, the old men be like, "Take your butt home, your mama friend. Why you keep walking past them boys?" You know, it was certain things you just, it was certain things you just couldn't do. And that's when we had a sense of community that would protect. It was a protected community, so they didn't want to see no harm come to you. We have a comment from Peace. There is a big difference between a 14-year-old girl sitting on a man's lap and a mother sending her child off as a gift. It is a big difference. It is a very big difference.
I agree. Well, but here's the thing. I heard in the case But see, and I agree with you saying. Look, we know some shit. We know that people join cults and take their kids with them, and their kids be gifts. You feel what I'm saying? But I also feel like there is a culture where we protect men at all costs. There are people out here, since we're going to give empathy to the predator, there are women out here who believe the only way you can belong to a family is you got to get down with this dysfunctional shit. We knew a whole community in the Bay Area where people told us about they person fucking with them when they was kids. You know what I'm talking about. I ain't trying to drop no names.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
To make us victims. No.
We did not have it.
Yeah. We had
so
made a pact. It was just something about this brother we knew didn't feel right. So we had made a pact. If he ever wanted to see us, we would never go see him alone.
That
was a pact that we made. It was a pact we made, and he tried it. He was about to get his ass whooped, but he tried it.
No, I just feel like this conversation, we need to have this more often. And I'm saying, I'm not making them no excuses for women delivering people as packages. But what I'm saying is, what kind of shit did she get that she thought it was okay?
And she would give her daughter up. Say it again.
Yes.
And
that's what I'm saying.
That's the part that we don't want to recognize. Even in certain comments, people will still make an excuse. There is no reason. There is no logical reason that is not disgusting that a grown man would ever sleep with a child. Yes, I don't care if the mama gave it to you. That is something wrong in your psyche. That makes
God told you it was okay
to have sex with a minor. Period.
Yeah.
We got a couple of comments. Tasha says props that he is in his daughter's life and protecting his daughter that way. She was out of bounds. And Peace says no accountability. True. And Tina McLean said, yes, my mother was really protective. Yeah, she had to be. You know,
and those women have stories that they don't talk about. See, I used to, when I learned when I got older, when I started like getting into therapy and shit like that, I was taught that sometimes adults didn't talk about it, but they would try to create rules to protect you. One rule our mama had when we was in Philadelphia, I'll never forget this. My mother was really into nightgowns. Yeah, nightgowns and robes. The mom had good for robe. If we went upstairs for the night and wanted a glass of water, we would have to put our fucking clothes on and bring our ass back downstairs or get some water from the bathroom. Do you remember that? Now, we had big ass house robes. Why the fuck we can't put the house robe on, go on downstairs, get the water, come back? But I feel like that was our mother's way of protecting us. You upstairs for the night.
And it was also her way of teaching us how to have some etiquette and how to be and to know that your body is to be protected. You know what I mean? That's another reason. Katana said, our villages look much different these days. We don't teach and protect in the same way. Tina said, absolutely. When I really heard my mother's story, I see why she was so protective of me and my siblings.
That's my point. Because we're never going to know my mom stories. My mom didn't share shit like that. But when I see people and I'm not saying I get the etiquette part, but I really think people always come up. We do this really well as Black people sometimes. We'll come up with a whole bunch of shit. And then when you get old, like, why the fuck is we doing that? And then you get to find out the other backstory, because we got some shit in our family too, like people having babies with their mama's, with their auntie's husband. Came out later. You know what I'm saying? So it's all kind of little things. You know, people didn't, and plus it was a safety thing. This is the only family I got. Black folks didn't have foster care back in the 40s and 50s and 60s.
Hell no.
You wouldn't stay with a neighbor. Let's keep it all the way a buck. This social stuff, this some shit that came up in the 80s with crack because it was some money involved. That's why y'all was in foster care. You see what I'm saying? So I just feel like we got to talk about that, because that's a culture, and it's an underlining culture that I see. This is just me, Londa, and so-called religious cults. I've seen a lot.
Most religions will excuse a man's behavior. It's just set up that way. And most religions will excuse bad behavior because you can either repent, or you can go give an offering, or you can go do something about what you did wrong. Most religions have an out for a fuck up. Excuse my language, but most religions have an out for your sin. No matter how big, how small.
We won't challenge God.
Yeah.
So we'll say, God said I got to have as many kids to reproduce myself. So that's why I'm fucking with a 13-year-old. I'll tell you one thing, if this was back in 1960s, 1970s, or even the 80s, somebody we know would have been under the jail, because he definitely had some kids when the girls was 14 and 13 and 12. One girl was 12. You remember? I said, oh, this is some shit. That's why I noticed, like, like, you out your damn mind.
And it's not an accident that we both grew up in one inch of fields where we work with these kind of people. It's not an accident. Definitely not an accident that we wind up growing up and went into a field where we did all of this kind of. That's a kind.
That's CJ. He knocked on the door very
I
politely.
knew it
Boop,
was
boop,
one of
boop,
them.
boop, boop.
I knew it
Sorry.
was one of them.
It's so cute.
Sister Katana said, "Talk, Sister Row."
No, for real
But
though. I just
yeah.
look, Kenny, you know we done counsel so many people. I could tell when shit
Lord.
happened before I
We
even
done
started talking to
counseled
the girl.
and took in. We have
Yes, you better
counseled
say
and
it,
took
Khadijah.
people into our homes before we even foster parent even came. We done picked up women on the side of the road with leaves and shit come out her clothes
You better
because she
been,
was trying to
been
escape from
fighting
somebody.
bushes. You've been fighting
Fighting
bushes.
bushes because
Pregnant.
she was trying to run from her captives who was
You
in the
better
name
say
of
it.
religion.
You
So
better
yeah,
say it. You better.
we were
So
souls runners before we
I'm
were
not making
social
this shit
workers.
up. Really, I'm not. I'm just not making this up.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to make something like this up, but I'm just saying. I just think sometimes we have to really do better and having these conversations, and they're not easy. But I think if we're gonna save our people, damn it, we better have this conversation. All right, family, hang with us real quick. So I'm gonna get to this David Banner piece. You ready, sis?
Come on.
Black people are the only people that send their brightest and their best to white colleges and white people. We talk about the football players and the black basketball players for dating white women, where you sent them to white colleges and made them be around all white people anyway. The problem is that most black people want to be white in the first place and won't admit it. They don't want to stay around black people when they get their money. They don't want to go to HBCUs. I don't think HBCUs should be a choice. I think that should be the only option that you have. Unless you're trying to go and get something and bring it back to the community. So what I'm saying is $360,000 in your community by each person donating $100 a month. I don't think that's asking a lot. And just to show you that I don't like the system, but to show you that I do think about it. Imagine if in every cop car, there was somebody from that community. One of the reasons why for both black and white cops, it's easy to kill a black kid in that community because your kids don't have to live with those kids. Black people are the only people that send their brightest and their best to white colleges and white.
All right, so what's your thoughts?
Well, I think it would be great if everybody went to an HBCU if that was their choice. I don't think that should be the only choice. And I know a lot of black men that went to white colleges and had black wives. That's the mentality that people have. That, if they wanted a white wife before they went to the HBCU. I mean, before they went to the white college. So I think David Banner. I'm curious to see what his woman looked like.
Okay, I don't know. I met him.
I'm just curious to see. But I mean, it would be great. It sounds great in theory, but I don't know, because I know a lot of people that went to HBCUs and had horrible experiences.
I mean, hey, hold on. Did you see this brother's comment next to his? Can you read it?
Mm-hmm. I believe black people want to live in peace. I love being around peaceful black people. I hate living around niggas. That sounds like us. It's a difference. I don't believe black people want to be white. I believe we just want peace in our neighborhood. So we work to move away from the bullshit. We get tired of the hustling and the gang banging outside your door. You get tired of standing on the front porch with the Glock at night waiting on your wife and kids to walk in the house after work and school. So yeah, fam, I get some money and I got the fuck away from the niggas. Who want to live like that, G? Don't mean I don't love my people. I'm from Chicago, by the way. It's rough out here. I'm also building an academy to help black and brown kids. So I'm one of them dudes who complained about the hood. I'm gonna do my part coming soon. And that's my point. I think, HBCUs is great if that's a choice that you make, but I don't think it should be the only choice, because I know some people that went to HBCUs and were treated horrible by their own people. So I don't think that's the answer to everybody.
I agree. I think I like David Man. I think he's pretty cool. I mean, I rock with a lot of stuff that he said. I just feel like we gotta quit acting like black people are just one group. I'm just gonna keep saying that. I know black people who don't eat watermelon. I know black people who don't eat meat. I know black people eat tofu. I know black people eat jackfruit. I know a lot of different variations of black folks, and I think HBCUs could be a choice. And see, my thing is, we forget that the history of HBCUs was to educate mulatto children. It was to educate the buffer race people that was created with the white man screwing black women in slavery.
Because they could not go to the white schools.
Yeah, they could not. But they didn't want the black kids to go to school. So I think I when I began to understand that too, Khadijah. I mean, the example, I don't know if you know who B. Smith is.
Absolutely, B. Smith.
It's B. Richards, not B. Smith the actor.
B. Richards, the old actress.
Actress, yeah. She went to Think Dillard, and she said she was miserable there. and she talked a lot about colorism between black people. And I feel like we got to really quit acting like it's okay that black people can live with black people and be abusive and be happy about it. Because I don't like to be around people who are abusive. I worked for a woman for 25 years that was very abusive, which, kind of, it didn't change my ability to work with women, but sometimes I can't stand an old woman when she's get
But
the
that
thick.
kind of goes back to when you said we're not all the same. That's kind of what irritated me at this funeral, because some people are used to talking to people. I don't disrespect my elders.
Yeah.
I would never tell some old people to shut the hell up. This sister told the old people, shut the hell up. I'm
Yeah.
trying to pray over the food. Damn. And it's because she thought because we was black, that's how. No, I don't talk to elders. I don't cuss in front of them. I don't. It's certain things that we just don't do. We're not all the same. We're not all
Yeah.
the same. I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave off that funeral, but that shit was just so disturbing for me.
No,
Just
yeah.
it was
I think
sad.
the person was burying their daddy, that she was the rudest one in
Yeah.
there,
Oh my God, Lord!
So
If it
I
wasn't her
just
daddy,
feel like,
I probably would have cracked in her mouth. You know, the old people. But Tina McClain says this reminds me of something Tupac said. He said, "Black people need protection too. Just because we may live next door to the killers doesn't mean we are friends and we get along."
that part. That's what I'm trying to
You
say.
in this room?
No, boom, like,
Katana said, "I agree with that statement." One
yeah.
going said, "Say that," and they said, "Hell, she better be black." LOL. Right?
I don't know.
I told my
I
son, if
ain't
she
seen it.
can't
I
use
don't
my
know.
comb, don't bring her home. No, remember, mom just say that.
Yeah, I don't
If
know.
she can't use my comb, don't bring her home.
I'm gonna tell you something that David Banner said. That I went to the Black Power Awards. Both of them. The first one was the bomb. I don't know, but the second one was kind of boo boo. But the first one was incredible. And David Banner said there was a time in the black community, if a pimp moved into the community and they knew this nigga was a pimp, he said a pimp moved to his neighborhood. His daddy and some friends went to the man's house and told him that he has to vacate or he's gonna come up missing. And the man was gone before the sun came up. Now, all I'm saying is, I know you're gonna go somewhere else. I get it,
Do you
but
think
that's how
we
you
have
protect the
black men like
community.
that in our community nowadays? Do you think we have black men like that will band together and put a pimp out our community? Because it's pimps that run nonprofits and don't nobody say
I
shit.
think
They
I
see
think
this
that
man
I
singing in
just
little
gonna say
girls'
this.
faces
I
and
think that I know. I think there are men that that would do it, but I also think we have a lot of real men who have butts and galls. I mean, butts, guts and balls. A lot of them are in jail. That's why we got all these punk ass niggas running around here. And excuse me for saying like that, but that's the truth. So that and usually when you go to jail, I don't know who got out of jail, but that fire they had before they went in is now that's what jail
got put
does.
out.
It kills that.
Mhm.
So I just
Mhm.
feel like I think we've produced a little bit more bitch ass niggas, and it's a lot of protection for them. And the protection, I hate to say it, comes from the
From
women
the
who
woman.
have a lack of men, so they know how to stand. You know what I mean? I especially feel sorry for young men who have all they have is their mothers. And I'm not saying women don't do a good job, but I wish I could show this video. This lady talked about how black women they love their sons and raise their daughters. And what it is that when they see their daughters, I can't find a video. I was looking for it. Because they didn't have that affection from that man. It's like they treat their sons damn near like if they're a man. If she's their man and she didn't get the affection that she didn't get from him, she's going to get from her son. And she treats her daughter like herself, which means she treats her like shit
Get
because
out and get it.
herself. Yeah, take care of business, do the dishes,
Mhm.
and I know men who don't wipe up behind themselves. I know men who feel like, and women who back them up. Because every time I see a trifling, shiftless ass dude, there's usually he has a ton of women. There's no shortages on women to pay side chick, front
Real talk.
chick, bottom chick, floor chick. I mean, they just everywhere. But they cannot.
And
No
even when
man
when
exists
you
without
just
women.
said when you just said that you're not trying to put down women that are boys that only have mothers in the home, that's not a put down, because before me and my husband got married, we were co-parenting in different homes, and I thought I was, I'm hardcore. I don't play, but when he lived in the home, I saw certain deficiencies I was giving my son because I was a woman, and so some things I was too easy on him with it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like, stop babying that boy. That's my baby. He was like, no, you're babying him. He should be doing da 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 da. But because I'm a woman, I didn't see that. You can't. A woman cannot teach a boy to be a man. I don't give a fuck how tough you are. I don't care who you grew up around. A woman
I get you.
cannot. I don't care if you think you a stud and you the woman in a relationship. A woman cannot teach a young boy how to be a man. There are fundamental things in being a man that you do not possess as a woman. So you cannot teach a young boy how to be a man. Period. I
I
don't
agree.
care how many men you can grow up in a house full of brothers. You're not a man. It's just some things you
Mm.
cannot teach them.
You
Tasha
see
says,
it?
we are missing fathers who raise men and are left with boys pretending to be men. Yeah. Yeah, and they emulating the men that they see on TV. Y'all know it. They emulating the men in their community that ain't really doing nothing. And it's the sad part about it. There are lots of black men in our community that work hard every day, but
Hey,
those are not the ones that the young boys emulate.
do you see Sister Peace on here? I'm looking on another phone. I'm trying to get the comments because I can't get them in my room. I don't know what's going on with my damn thing. But
Sister
she
Peace
said
from earlier.
Ben Carson's mother was 13 and his father was 28 when they married. Now, is it illegal to marry young? See, back in the day when you were a young black girl, you didn't have no protection. You just didn't. You remember none of these laws was like this on the books. My grandmother was 13 when she married my grandfather who was 18. Did you know that? And had a first child at 13. So there was really never, see, this is the other thing with black girls in particular. Black girls have never had protection. A white woman can walk in the room and cry, and every black person gonna get a rubber bag. You okay? Black girl crying. Girl, what you crying for? What you crying for? It's gonna be all right. Like immediately she had to suck her shit up. So we've never really seen black girls as girls.
I don't think black women have ever been considered to be valuable, been valued, period.
That's why when it comes to producing children and doing work and cleaning and shit like that.
That's it. Yeah, that domestic work. That's not. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, absolutely, you're right. It was never. We were never valued, even in our own community.
Yeah,
even in our own community, we're undervalued and underappreciated and unprotected.
I just know I've seen that so loud and so-called. I don't know what you call these people, like black cult sex or black, like even in the Black Panthers, they talk about 70% of the like the large majority of the rank and file were black women. But I've heard stories from people who was in the Panthers that the shit was not that beautiful. And you
said now marriage is a coarse word. What do you mean by that, Peace? You said marriage is a coarse word. What do you mean by that?
We can. Tina said,
so true. We can't even cry without being seen as weak.
Yeah, that's absolutely my point. That's my choice. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying my grandmother was 13. You're not ready to marry nobody when you're 13. My grandfather used to beat the shit out of my grandmother, and she ran away from when she had a fourth child and left her 3 children who all ended up in the orphanage. 4 children, excuse me.
Oh, a curse word. I got you. He said marriage is a curse word. Got you.
Sorry. Okay. I'm just saying, look at all of this background. I'm not trying to be funny. I think I was telling my sister this, maybe my other cousin.
Tracy said never valued and damn sure never protected, still to this day.
That's my point. Because immediately we even teach girls to protect the predator if he's black.
And not even being funny, even in our own family, like even amongst our siblings, call on my sisters first when I'm about to go whip somebody's ass. I don't really call my brothers. And they call on me because I'm considered toughy. So they, they call me. I'm not coming to talk.
Please don't
coming to bust somebody in the head. So don't. But I'm saying even in our dynamics, and now as I'm thinking back, on our life, when things went down, I was calling up my sisters. We finna go who ride, and we had older brothers. We had them, but I didn't call on them.
They were self-serving people. They like this to this day. They self-serving.
Tasha said Malcolm X said it best. The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. Hold on, gotta open her thing up somewhere.
But the hardest working vagina in America is a black woman.
America is a woman. Tracy says, "Speak to my Tracy." Like but and it's just funny because some people don't even know we have brothers. They're like, "Oh, you got a brother?" I'm like, "Yeah," because they even from high school. Something happened in high school. My sister showed up in Cheryl D. Shout out to Lemonhead. No, but they showed up and represented. They fighting the gang members. Boop, because I had got to a fight with a girl and her family was gang members. I beat her and her sister up until they tried to jump me. So my sisters had to come get me from school. And the gang banker tried to fight and Cheryl knocked his ass out. Bob, this was one of the biggest gang members at Blood Bank. Okay. So even then, I got some warriors in my bloodline as far as the women.
But I do think this thing with some men, not all men, because where I don't have brothers that I feel like have my back, I'm just gonna be honest with you, and care for me. I think I've established relationship with certain men that are like my brothers and who will come for me, will come, if I call them, will move me to damn near every house I lived at. Like, what I mean? Like, just the men I honor. Look at all the men I know and the men I honor. So there's good men. So I'm just saying sometimes even when you don't know them like that, or they're not the brothers you wanted to have, you can always go and build relationships with people. And I'm so grateful to say I know men that are just, if I call them, they come right now.
Tracy said, yes, I already know. Tasha said, I wasn't messing with they wasn't messing with y'all. LOL. They knew wasn't ready for the smoke. Reggie said, I forgot about the brothers because you sisters handled it. I'm serious. We didn't have no choice. Y'all remind me of me and my sister. She's my youngest, and with all the smoke. Yeah, I'm a baby, and I swear people think I'm the oldest because I'm a protector.
But see, that's because you think you're
I'm
the
the
oldest
baby bear,
shit.
but I am mentally. No,
You know what I mean?
but I
You
am a
think you
protector
think
of
you're the damn
my
oldest.
I am a protector of my family. I
No,
really,
she
really
really
am a
is.
protector. I
She
really,
really
yeah. Leave
is.
my sisters alone. No. But what's the
Did
next
you
topic
see?
we talking
All right, so
about?
listen, y'all. This next one is gonna be hard, but listen, okay, family, listen, okay.
This
I
must
need
be
y'all to just
Donald Trump.
hear it. Now, listen. If I was to say to you, say we have like this presidential election coming up, right? Don't turn the channel, y'all, because black folks, we gonna need. This is a hard conversation to have with black people because some of us are always triggered by like words and shit. Like I think gaslighting is something that we just got to get that shit under
I
control.
think just this man's name is a gaslight for black
I
people.
know, but hold on.
Regardless of
But
whatever.
here's
Yeah.
somebody who may be running for office, and he wants to deal with the immigration issue by deporting all the immigrants. Now I'm gonna tell y'all this: after they've been deporting Haitians left to right, even this as little as last week they deported 60 of them, but they let every other group in here. So I think they should deport them all. If you can't let the Haitians in, everybody must go. So I didn't have no problem with that. This person also wants to end child trafficking and return children back to their original country. I don't know about y'all. We have a lot of kids in foster care. I do not think we can help other kids that come from other countries. Like I'm just gonna be honest with you, we don't have enough room. We don't even have enough room for the immigrants. We have all these homeless population of people. Because in Chicago right now, the black community is like, no, we don't want the immigrants in our community. And I don't know what
And
makes
they're
black
only
people
bringing
think,
them to the black community. They're not
yeah.
putting them in nobody else's community.
And Chicago is segregated. They got the Polish section, Italian section,
Yep.
the white
And
section.
they
So
only
they can
putting them
put
in the
them over
black
there
people.
too. Yeah.
Yep.
So quit thinking
Yep.
that black people's job is to house everybody. No, we got to go for self.
We are
This
not a
person
rehab for the
also,
country, for the world.
right. This person also wants to investigate all the radical the DAs. And I'm gonna tell y'all this: look at San Francisco. Hell, look at Sacramento.
Sasha
What?
said, I am feeling like this is about to be DeSantis. No, you close though.
No, wait a minute, don't say that. No, hold on, because I'm gonna say, hold on. This person also wants to bring back. I'm gonna skip this one because they're gonna know immediately if I say this one. So I'm not gonna say that one. This one says this person also wants to defund any schools or institution that is pushing transgender or what's that other shit?
Sexual mutilation.
No. That's a different one. That's different. He said transgender or what's that shit? Basically teaching black history or whatever. And let me say this, black folks, stop lying to yourself. School has never taught black history. The black history we learned was from our family. I don't know about y'all. I grew up with the black history books from the Ebony magazine. I learned some stuff away from school, which I'm glad I did because I think school would have tried to dilute it. So black folks, that's a key to trigger you, but you trigger by some shit you ain't never got. Hold on.
Laughing at Tasha. She said Tim Scott's dumb ass. Tasha really on the gas.
Keeping men out of women's sports. This person wants to do. Then this person wants to defund and protect children from mutilation. That's probably separate from mutilation, like and I don't know.
And lock up the parents. And lock up. He said, and lock up the parents who are given permission for their children to get their genitals cut off.
Listen. I'm going to show you who this person is. I want to have a conversation because here's my thing, y'all. I don't know about y'all. I watch all kind of news. I don't watch the news that keep me asleep. I don't watch the news that pander to black folks. And I say, oh, we're going to give everybody a piece of fried chicken. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I like this network. Like, I don't do shit like that. I don't watch the Real Housewives. Like, I think that they're...
give you blunts.
Yeah.
Remember they was giving out blunts for COVID shots? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, my God. But that says... So, y'all, don't get pissed off. Please put your comments down as the man is talking because we're gonna discuss this. I want to discuss this shit. So let me put it up. Don't nobody hang the fuck up. It's okay. Hold on. Because some of y'all get triggered when you see this, man. Y'all motherfuckers be triggered in the motherfucker. But I just feel like, let me just say this. I think liberation don't come with people that you like. I think liberation comes with people who may make you get up off your ass and do it yourself. But hold on, here we go.
Wrong comment while you pulling that up. Peace says, why black men usually be the one to initiate marriage and black women usually be the one to initiate divorce?
Okay, hold on.
Tell us why.
Historic Trump economic boom. I will immediately terminate every open borders policy of the Biden administration. Our country is being invaded. Following the Eisenhower model, we will use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. Got to do it. Got to do it.
Tasha said, this fool
And
right
I will
here.
use Title 42 to end the child trafficking crisis by returning trafficked children to their families in their home countries immediately. To stop the Marxist prosecutors who release rapists and murderers while persecuting Republicans, conservatives, people of faith, and me, by the way, I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist in reverse enforcement of the law. And we will bring back a thing called stop and frisk in our cities. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children, our beautiful children. Our beautiful children are being destroyed by these maniacs. I will.
Really quick, let me get some of these comments. And Tasha said, Tasha, you are
Hold
so
on.
much.
Let me stop this fool.
She said, this fool right here. Then she said, this clown. She said, then his
Okay.
wife should be on the first flight.
Oh, so I can't see the comments. Okay, y'all. I know Donald Trump
they
is
said,
not.
well, he stopped, frisk, grabbed, and more. This
Yeah.
daggone Tasha gonna be death to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a
So
groper.
yeah, he is. He's a groper. But all the presidents have been gropers. Some of them have been gropers in the White House and got their penis sucked and come all on the first desk. But we forget that part because we actually like that groper. Okay. So what are your thoughts about that? Let's go down each one of these things. So his first thing is about immigration. Be honest. And I think black folks, like, we ain't talked about immigration.
Miss Shirley said, and who is paying for this? Racist to the core. Every black person better register and vote. And Tasha said, Billy Clinton. Yeah, you're right. Bill Clinton.
Yeah, he sure did. So here's my thing. But so is Joe Biden is racist to the core. How do y'all separate these two? Because I don't separate the two. Biden, to me, locked up all the black men. Miss what's her name? Miss Jackie? Miss Shirley? Sorry. Miss Shirley. So he locked up all the black men. Some of them I knew got ridiculous sentences because of Joe Biden. So Donald Trump, he ain't never locked up no black man. Huh? And Kamala. So how do we? I don't understand how we get so.
I think Joe Biden is the comfortable person for black people because he feels like the safe white man, even though he does absolutely nothing for black people. Every other race has a law where you bother them, your ass is getting. He hasn't passed anything to protect black people. They have the Asian AA. Yeah, they have the Asian. You assault them, you're going to jail. Black people have nothing.
Gay people got all kind of rights.
Gay people, yeah. Now, yeah, black people, yeah. Joe Biden is just as racist as Trump and everybody else. He just likes to cover it up.
I think Trump may say some retarded shit. Let me just be honest. Like every president we've ever had, including Barack Obama. I'm gonna be honest. Y'all love Barack. I voted for the man twice. Huh?
But Trump is also a click and bait. He says shit to get y'all talking. He's an entertainer. He's like Jackass on steroids. He does anything for shock. I'm sure he's like anything for shock value, anything to get you up. That's why he's all over the news, all over, And
every time he gets indicted, his ratings go up.
And exactly, and I totally agree as far as immigrants. I know a lot of people I know people who have worked their whole life and they get crumbs in SSI because all that shit's going to the immigrants who hasn't put anything into Social Security, but they're over here getting. I know people who have children who make $1 over what they qualify for welfare, so their kids don't even have medical coverage. And immigrants come here and they get medical coverage. I know people who don't have housing, who've been living in a motel for years, and immigrants come here and they get housing and vouchers. So I'm all for the immigration thing. Get their ass out of here. Also, when it comes to teaching sexuality in school, like I said a few episodes back, I opted out for my son because I don't need the school teaching him about gender. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's all y'all teaching my son. You're not going to teach him about non-binary, gender, nothing. Opt out for that and give him something else. That's not the school's job. And back you up again, the school has never, ever taught black history. They only teach us that we were slaves. That's the only part that's in the history book about us, is that we were on a goddamn plantation. That's it. And that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, which is bullshit. So
Keisha, are we
that's
on the
all
same
they
one?
taught in school. That's all that they taught in school. So yeah, it's not the school's job to educate us
Keisha,
on
do you see Tanya
our
McClain's
Black history.
comment?
Uh, his wife look like she can't stand his ass. I see that. Miss Shirley
Hold on.
said black people are racist too. Tracy said my husband and I felt like they both are terrible presidents. We felt like we get the lesser of evil having Biden, but Trump tell you what he gonna do. Exactly,
But he
Tracy.
never
I'd
did it.
rather
But
know.
tell me what he did. No, seriously, I think that's a statement that you made up. Tell me what he did. I'm telling you, Biden's what he's done. He's been a politician his whole life. I could tell you the sarcastic stuff he said. If you don't vote for him, you ain't black. I want a white man to tell me he was black. I want look, the largest contributor to the Republican Party is Chinese Americans. See, y'all don't even know that. And you know why? Because the Republicans stay out your business. That's why they're the number one contributor. They don't need nothing from the white man. They secure themselves.
Tasha,
I
Tasha
want to know what the man
Winslow
did.
said. Tracy, you gonna put that in the comments, baby?
Okay,
Tasha
please.
said Trump is speaking. Trump is speaking the minds of those who follow him. He's speaking their truth. He is just reminding those who fell asleep that racism and modernized slavery is still here. Trace, come on, sister, preach. Miss Shirley said, gay people have financial backing. They have pulled their money to get effective political power. P said
But
the RICO Act against Donald Trump is by the same prosecution's office that initiated the RICO Act against Cop City, which is the lesser evil, lesser devil. Tracy said, never taught Black history, but you want to teach and educate our children on sexuality. Yeah, yeah,
that's my point.
absolutely. But that's by divine order. They don't want little black boys to fall in love with little black girls and produce little black babies. They do not.
Okay,
They're
it's
going.
normal.
They. That's why there are only black NBA players and black NFL players who carry a purse and wear skirts and wear nail polish. You won't see
Okay.
Tom Brady with no nail polish on and no purse. You won't see no. I have yet to see a white NBA player come out there with a purse, nail polish, a skirt, a headscarf, a necklace. None of that. I don't see any white rappers coming out with that on any. I don't where that is specifically designed for the black man and the black woman not to procreate together. Go
Wow.
ahead.
No, what I was gonna say, I agree with you. This I'm gonna say this. I feel like I'm an intelligent black person, and I want to be able to look at all the candidates and see which one will best suit me. Biden don't suit me because I don't rely on the government for shit. I ain't never been a welfare recipient. I'm gonna be honest with you. My mother worked her whole life. If anything, she had subsidy because she didn't make enough. But I don't need people. So my thing is, I need somebody to fight the enemies that are fighting me along with Biden, because Biden is not good for black people. I'm just going to have to say it. Y'all need to wake up and vote for the people that's going to help you liberate yourself. Now, if you're a lazy ass person, then you should probably go for Biden and go be homeless in a tent. But I want a fighting chance. I got to vote for somebody that first of all, I'm not going to ever ask Donald Trump for anything. See, black folks, if y'all was smart and because y'all know racism, at least you think you know racism well, it should be easy for you to make it over against a racist that's openly. I don't like frenemies. I can't
Miss
stand
Shirley has
frenemies.
a question.
Okay.
Shirley said, "Who are we going to vote for?" Miss Shirley, I think that's going to be based on the individual person's perspective because everybody has different things that they expect from their president and from leadership. So
Yep.
you have to vote for the best candidate that's going to be conducive to the life that you're living and the life
Yeah,
that you want to live. I don't think there's one particular person that everybody black should vote for
I agree.
because
I don't agree.
I think it's going to be individual. You know, that's why it has to be who you feel comfortable and who you believe in their strategies and what they're going for. But I don't think there's one particular person for us to vote for. P said all presidents are descendants of slave masters except Donald Trump. We need to mobilize the removal of all elected officials who are descendants of slave masters. Facts.
And I want to know the black people who will vote for Biden. Do you think this fool should be given a black agenda? Because everybody else is giving the man one, and he's followed it to the T. I just think in order for black people to be really liberated, see, in slavery, here's the kicker that's really gonna get y'all. In slavery, there were black people who helped these white people. They don't get to be victims while they victimizing black people. Where's y'all system? Yeah, where's y'all system, black people? See, back in the day when we had racist ass Johnson and all the motherfuckers, black folks was getting their own stuff together. We had 60 towns out of slavery. We had
Tasha said there are black folks who support Trump as well. That's why I say he is speaking truth to those who follow him. There are a lot of people in all ethnicities that support Trump.
You better say. And I think what I'm trying to say is, and I agree with you, Taj. I just feel like, why is it so hard for Black folks to have hard conversations? Like, I'm trying to put together this panel, and I find the Black Republican, whatever. I want us to be able to sit down and stop speaking in generalities. Because see, the Black woman I am, I did well under Donald Trump when he was president. Biden is making it hard to the motherfucker. This motherfucker gonna help everybody but me.
He happened
You
every
get
race
me?
for Black people.
So yeah. So I know how to, because I didn't ask Donald Trump for shit, and he stayed out my goddamn way. Biden want me to make sure I'm teaching a girls class. Well, can transgender? What the fuck? I don't teach. I don't know what it's like to pretend to be a girl, because I'm a woman and I was a girl. So I just feel like I need someone who's going to leave me alone. Stay out my business. I can teach my own self Black history. I am
And I
Black
also
history.
exactly. You welcome Black history. I also
Yeah.
believe in when he said transgender. I don't know if you got to that part yet. Should be they shouldn't be in sports competing against women. I think they should have their own arena of sports for just transgender,
I
and they
agree.
compete
I think there
against each
should be a
other.
third
I think,
bathroom.
yeah, I think absolutely. Yeah.
I think it should be a third bathroom too. But my thing is, see the Democrats. I'm not trying to be funny. They act like all the Black people gonna agree whatever they come. They don't respect us enough to even ask us what our opinion was. See, my thing is, y'all better stop trying to shut people down, because what people do in history, they have walked in booths and voted against you because you didn't give them the proper respect, at least hearing why they
You
may
trying to
vote for
bully
this
them.
person. Y'all
I'll
some
be right
bullies
back.
though, for real. Like, they some straight bullies. I'm sorry, sissy. Yeah. So my thing is, I don't know. I just felt like, I know that was going to be controversial. So Donald Trump, but at some point we got to stop looking at shit being emotional. Like, I could tell sometimes what TV programs people watch. Like, it's just kind of like, look, and I didn't vote for Donald Trump the last time. I voted for Jill Stein. I didn't even vote for Biden because I lived through the crack era. I consciously cannot vote for this man. That's my truth. I can't vote for Joe Biden, and I definitely can't vote for Kamala. Now she out there doing the hip hop dance. Because this is nothing. All you gotta do to get most Negroes vote
Get some
is to
music
put
on.
some hot sauce in your purse and dance to some hip hop beat, and then you be like, she one of us. She ain't one of you. Like, what? That all it takes to be one of you is to see her doing this. This all it takes. That's it. And then what you
He
doing?
said there is no such thing as equality because equality brings homosexuals under civil rights instead of equal rights. Tina McClain says, I really feel that integration did more harm than good because when we were forced to be separate, we did for self. I've been saying that for a long time.
I
I
agree.
agree with you, Tina.
I agree. So I'm saying, is this what we want our this is like smoking the joint with and playing saxophone with Bill Clinton, who locked up all the Black men
Right.
in the 90s. Black folks, we are
Tracy said
so into
Tracy said Kamala Harris has never been for us, period. Tasha said, don't quote me 100%, but if I heard it correctly, the Republican Party began with Black people first. That's correct.
We were all Republicans first.
Yep.
And the truth of the matter, both
That's
of them is
true.
the same team. Notice I'm not pushing the party line. I'm just saying, if I want to send a dum-dum in to free up some shit, to make some shit clear for me, I'm not voting for the person who say they my friend, but show me through his action that he really hates my fucking guts. Because even Joe Biden is senile, but he helped everybody else but forgot us. So we're gonna blame it on that he's old.
Because he never was helping us. He
I
just
know.
needed them both to get in office. That's all. He was never helping Black people. That was never part of
And
the plan.
I'm gonna be exposing niggas who support him straight up. I'm gonna just start busting niggas out straight up, because I feel like we gotta stop selling our people down the drain. We gotta really stop the bullshit. Because I remember Donald Trump being in all the hip hop songs. I remember him making all the money with the victory tour with the Jacksons. I remember him promoting all of the Black boxers. Do I gotta keep going? Did we
Tracy,
just
at one time it was only really the Republican Party, and then other parties started coming. Go ahead.
Well, it was also like the Dixiecrats or whatever the hell, because they was racist
Yeah.
and shit. Those were the Democrats. You know what I mean? Let's be honest with you. And I also feel like the Black folks who were Republican, they were really self-sufficient. See, most of us aren't self-sufficient. Most of us really don't want to be on an equal playing field because we're so used to getting a hand up.
And most Black people don't want to be independent thinkers. They need somebody to tell them how to think, what to do, where to go, how to tie their shoes, how to wipe their butt. Some Black people need that everyday directive. They need a massa. And right now, that's Joe Biden for some Black people. That's why he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. And people went out and voted for him. Like that really
They
meant
sure
something.
did. How you gonna let a white man tell you what
And that's
makes you do
insulting.
that? Charlamagne the God says his ass right there. He'll come for every little petty Negro, but not Joe Biden.
Charlamagne is also a predator. He was sleeping with a 17-year-old girl. He's also a predator. So you got Charlamagne to sit here. That's why any man that calls himself Charlamagne the God, he's a fucking predator. He had a 17-year-old girl he was having sex with, all kind of charges. I don't play around when it comes to underage girls, but yeah, he's a predator. So yeah,
Man,
that's why he sit up there and
oh
just
no.
talk
I
stupid shit on the
I
radio.
pray, Khadijah, that one day in this great country of ours, that black folks can sit at a damn table and look at all their options and discuss every option to see which one. Because here's the thing: if we did that, some of us may not be at the same table.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sure.
some of us may not be at the same table, and some of us ain't living in the same reality. Some of
Like
us,
I said, I don't want to break bread with people I don't even want sitting at my table. So we not all want to vote the same way. And
yeah,
at one time we did have strength in numbers because we were all suffering in the same suffering. We had identical and now everybody's suffering looks completely different.
yeah,
Some people are self-inflicted suffering where you make decisions that make you suffer and put you in certain.
mm,
At one time, we were all in the same boat. So we did vote collectively because we were all pushing for housing and certain things. Now everybody's on different playing fields. So we it's hard to vote collectively when we all in different places in life and different perspectives and we have different
it's
struggles.
deep.
Some people
It's deep.
struggle is to get food for their kids. Some people struggle is to try to get my house refinanced. Two different struggles.
Mm,
We have two different struggles. So
it's real deep.
we're not all struggling where we have that camaraderie or the commonality that we need to all vote this way to get this particular thing done. Just like when people voting for mayors, people want to vote. He black, put him in mayor. We had Kevin Johnson here, who was mayor for a long time. Also has some sexual allegations against him, allegedly.
A
But I'm
few.
just saying, it's a lot of people. Yeah. So but what all did black people get when he was in office other than St. Hope Academy?
And indivisible
What else did
meetings.
they get? Yeah, what else did they get? So sometimes voting with who we think is going to give us some justice and some service is really a slap in the face because they're really about getting their own self ahead. Peace says the so-called black people do not have a culture. They believe their history began with slavery. With that mindset, we already lost. That's some black people because some black people have culture and
Yeah,
some don't.
yeah. So
Sybil
again,
said
that's
that
the
it's so
that's
true,
the.
different levels.
Go ahead, sis.
Sybil said this is so true, different levels and no compassion for someone who was on a different level in life. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And I'm gonna
What
say
was you gonna
this
say, Ray?
because I'm gonna say this. It was the culture of slavery though that built America. So that's not demise slavery. See what I'm saying? Like you'll never meet a Jew to say the Holocaust didn't. They know it didn't begin with the Holocaust, but it's a hell of a cost because we're paying for it. It didn't even happen here. But
And
I
we
feel
can't
like
skip over slavery like it wasn't a big deal. We
yeah,
can't diminish slavery because that fucked us up.
yeah,
So we cannot diminish slavery. Tasha said, I can honestly say that I voted for Biden. There were issues that I did not agree with. However, I would be looking more towards issues versus party because I haven't seen relief on either side.
yeah.
That's
And
all.
just
That was the only thing
remember
we were
this:
trying to get people to
you've been
do.
under both presidents. You've been under both people now. See, black folks got to get out the emotion. That's kind of like when you see your child's father and you know this nigga was a screw when y'all was together and he cheated on you. Do you still be mad at him for cheating, or do you try to co-parent because y'all have children together? Like I ain't even with this fool like this. I'm gonna need him to do this part though. Can we at least agree to do that? But sometimes we can't do that. I'm just saying, sometimes I just feel like I love black people. I ain't talking about Negroes, I'm talking about black people. But sometimes I get really concerned that we are going to lose because we're emotional about shit that has nothing to do with nothing. When I learned that the Chinese Americans, like last year we did the road trip and I had to learn all this stuff about Chinese Americans, I learned so much stuff about their history in America now. Don't get it twisted. See what I'm saying? I had to go over to China. That they support the Republican Party because they leave them alone. And so when they ask for federal protection, they got it because they're seen as valuable, one. And two, they fought the white man before. See, my Uncle Stanley, blessed memories, to say the white man will never respect the black man because y'all are afraid to fight this fool. My uncle told me that, blessed memory.
And he knows it.
And
the white man knows it.
He knows it. He knows it. And so I just was
Tracy
like, this is kind of deep.
Tracy said, yes, I agree, Tasha. I vote for him not knowing. We'll look further to what our needs are from now on.
Please look at that. Seriously, y'all, please. And let me say this.
He says, P
But
says some black people don't know we've been in America as long as we've been in Africa and long before the coming of the great Atlantic Ocean culture. Okay.
brother,
Tasha said we
I'm not
first
Native
have to be
American,
honest.
but go ahead.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know,
just peace.
sister. Go ahead. It's not to say that.
Yeah.
He's talking about his people,
Tasha
because
Winslow, we first have
I'm
to
not a part of them. Go ahead.
yeah. And yeah, you can't diminish my ancestors that was
Yeah,
enslaved on these shores. You can
yeah.
diminish yours, but I know what the fuck my ancestors went through.
You better say it. Keep
Tasha
going.
Winslow, we first have to be honest with your question because we can't hide behind how folks are getting into office. This is self-inflicted wound. However, once you acknowledge it, accept it, that is here, we can address it. Absolutely.
I
I
agree.
agree.
And all I'm saying, the reason why I use that Asian comment is because they know who these people are, but they know how to work around them. Like, these people won't bother us because we're gonna build our own stuff. See how that works?
So
You can't
we
ask
don't
for
need
what
their
you can't
stores.
use the man's tool to dismantle the man's house. That's the see. Most of us need to
You
learn.
can't use a system that he created to dismantle him.
Yeah, he's not gonna let you do it. My uncle used to
Like,
say he will
please.
never. My uncle said he will never create a law that will convict him. This is stuff elders would tell us when we was growing up, and I was like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
On what
Now
year was
I
Uncle
understand.
Stanley born?
1923.
So he know what he's talking about, not somebody that just been here a little bit of time trying to
Yeah,
tell us history. Like, sit back and I'm glad that you read some books. I'm happy for you, but you cannot diminish the enslaved African Americans on these
that's what
shores.
I am. That's
Yeah,
all
you
I
cannot
am.
do
I'm
that.
not trying to be funny.
And
Yeah.
not on here you can't. You can do it in your circle, but you ain't gonna do it on
Yeah.
here.
And I think that's the thing. So the respect piece is that's like me going into your meeting and saying, but we're really from Africa. Like, why would if y'all doing it, we've been here before, we're not a part of the people who were born here from Africa, then do that. I'm saying that's not a part of what I am, and I don't have to support that. See how beautifully that works? Is you Asiatic, then go to is this Asia? I don't know where the addict at, but go there. Because they would love to have you, but you can't go there because you would have to put in work. I've been to Asia. You have to put in work. You can't go to Africa. You gotta put in work. The most degreed black persons in America are Nigerians. They're not Negroes who've been here. They have more degrees than all the other Africans and African Americans put together. Did y'all know that? Some of them have 5 PhDs. Do you hear me? Even though Nigeria look a mess, but I'm just saying. So my thing is some stuff looks like contradictions when people look at what's your track. See, back in the day, before you could say stuff, you had to show people what you were building.
You have to have facts.
You have to have facts. You couldn't just show. See, the internet is dangerous because Negroes, if they be on here and just say whatever, can't nobody check your track record. They don't know. They don't know if you molesting somebody right now. They don't know if somebody's penis is in somebody's child's ear while you watching this shit. We are crazy out here. We are really crazy. I'm the type of person when I meet somebody, I get their whole background check. They don't even know I'm doing it. I'm gonna check who you're. If you got one dirty sock in your drawer right now, I'm gonna find that motherfucker.
Blacks, P says blacks enslave blacks as well. Where the contradiction? We said that earlier.
Yeah, we did.
They helped to enslave. Yeah, that's not anything new.
Find something else to argue about and be at peace. Peace. Be peace. Be peace.
Because I just said in Nigeria. Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead, get your words. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, peace. I'm just saying, peace. See, my thing is, people looking for war, but their name is peace. Can't you just respect that we ain't with that shit and then move on to something else? See how easy that is? That's really easy. Native man, that's real easy. I'm gonna give you that respect. That's not what I am. I'm from Africa.
Tasha said a Nigerian pushed me to go back to school and believe that I can get a degree.
Hey, they hear all about the degree now. Nigeria.
They on a mission.
I was at a table getting an award from Sac State with 5 PhD Nigerians, and they had about 10 PhDs between the 5 of them. And my question to them, very nicely, well, when y'all gonna go to Nigeria and build that shit up? Because Nigeria is crazy. 1 out of every 5 African is a Nigerian. And when you really talk to them, they'll tell you the corruption in their country is like, that's like breathing and eating popcorn. It's so ridiculous on the continent. Like, I mean, in Nigeria in particular. But it's okay. I respect that. I'm glad some of them are here because most of us probably wouldn't even have mates. Because most Negroes think they're indigenous and they can be with anybody. But okay. I know that sounds crazy.
I don't even use the word indigenous when I describe myself.
Me either. But I'm just saying. I know I'm not.
That's gonna push black people. No, but I do know people. The black people. That's a new thing. We are indigenous people. Not me. I'm a black woman.
I'm not. I'm
y'all gonna pitch yourself right up out the fuck. Yeah, y'all gonna pitch yourself right up out of there.
And I feel like if the white man just give reparations,
so we are not diminishing history, ladies.
Huh?
Okay, peace. Tasha says, no, peace says,
Okay.
so we
Oh,
are not diminishing history, ladies. Okay, peace. Tasha says, I can't speak for all, only the ones I know, and they send money home to Nigeria for their families to go to school. Yeah,
that's right.
I work with, Mitchell, that's my
Me too.
homeboy, Uncle
Yep.
Uncle. But
Me too.
he works at 3 jobs. 2 of the checks he sent home, and 1 he lived off of, Tasha. So you are
Yeah.
absolutely, but that's something different too, because that's
Yeah. And I'm
Nigerians
not
are known
saying,
for that.
'cause, I've been all up in fucking Africa stuff. You know that already. I'm with a person that's from the continent. But I just really feel like I really respect the way that they make sure their kids get them damn degrees. See, the girls I work with in
Mhm.
school, the ones that are from Africa, they know they going to college and not a JC. They know that's a part of their mission. They ain't finished education when they done with high school. They want them to be
Mhm.
able to get a good job and have all the credentials while they can do it. So but it's like there's nothing wrong with that. I never forget one time I had something in my house and it was African Americans and then African like from the continent was all in my house breaking bread and we were just sharing and everything. And one of my this is when Dr. Sapoma was staying with me before she became a doctor and she was working on it. And she was saying how her parents was tripping off her because she got a degree from UCLA, but then she went off to Cuba to medical school. They didn't want her to do that. They wanted her to do that, but not get married. I think she got married, and they would have a problem with that. And then one of the black ladies who was African American said, "Wow, either y'all asking for too much, or I'm not asking for enough because I'm just praying my son finishes high school." And in that moment, I just sat there like, "This is some deep shit." Because this girl's like, well, I already got a college degree, but they want me not to get married till I finish medical school. And she's like, I can't wait that long. And then the one sister was like, I'm just hoping my kid get out of high school and don't impregnate nobody on the way. She said, what the hell is going on here? Why are we struggling so much with our children in America? And I don't know the answer. I'm
There
not
are
saying they ain't
multiple
biased
reasons.
teachers.
I'm
I'm
about to
not
say there
saying
are
none of that.
multiple reasons.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
also believe
there
that
are so
sometimes
many
our
reasons.
expectations, because some of us are trying to be our kids' friends, and when we want to be liked, and we help our kids have excuses. I've had teachers who were racist, but I still had to do my goddamn homework.
Period.
You understand what I'm saying? What would you say?
Hmm.
Go ahead.
Sybil said, I really appreciate this forum. It is so needed. Real talk, unfiltered. Tracy, this is so true. Tracy, this is so true. They push education because that's freedom. Totally agree. Tasha said, I feel like there is a position that peace is trying to convey a message, and I am unclear of the position. What is the point you are actually trying to present in this moment? Are you trying to add to the forward thinking of this conversation, or are you trying to create a debate? Sorry, I just really trying to understand the message. That was for
Great
peace.
question.
And I think Nigerians are a lot like our ancestors in the cities where degrees was where you had to have a degree. I
I
think for
agree.
some Black Americans, they
I agree.
realize sometimes even with the degree, you still got to go do for self and go build your shit.
Oh, most
And you
definitely.
made the degree, and the degree may not guarantee you anything. You know what I mean? But at one point, that was an expectation that you went to college and you got a degree and you built something and you gave back to the community. That was an expectation in the Black community. What happened? I don't know because a lot of shit happened. Life
I'll
happened,
say
but
this
that
too.
was an expectation in Black
I
communities.
agree. I'm gonna back you up with that, Khadijah, because back in the day, you went to college to get knowledge to help you build whatever you're gonna build for yourself. But
Hmm.
now we have what's called technology. You could go on the YouTube and say how to open a store, and you could get an app that says write me a proposal for a bank. See, now we got all of these things we could use that you don't even have to go to college for. But how many of us are using technology to do just that? Or do we use
Hmm.
it to watch, I don't know, fights or
Yep.
people cussing each other out or telling everybody we indigenous and no boats came over here from Africa? Like we're using it, some of us are using it for bullshit. Because otherwise we'll have black towns that will pop up. Now I will say this, because I don't know everything. There are some black people who got together and bought some acres in different parts of the South and they're building whole neighborhoods. They're building
Hmm.
little banks and little stores. There are people always
Yep.
trying. They may not be on the internet like, look at me. So they may not be on here
Because
like
it,
that.
because they working. A lot of people don't have time to do that. Only people that be on the internet all day debating motherfuckers is people who ain't doing nothing. Because who got time to sit here and debate when you out doing the work? So yeah, you probably won't see them. And I know this is what you're talking about. Yeah,
You
black.
know
The,
what I'm saying?
the sorority just opened up a black bank.
Yes.
So yeah, there are black schools. A lot of black things that black people are doing that. But of course we don't like to talk about the accomplishments. We just like to talk
Yeah.
about
what we
and
ain't doing.
deficiencies.
I got you. All right, Kenny, we
Yep.
about to get off this, child, because I gotta get up early in the morning, and I gotta do some things like play with my great nephews and my niece before I go to bed. But please, this was great, y'all. Thank y'all all for tuning in. If y'all have things you want us to cover, send it to us inboxes. We go by what we see during the week. And so we kind of talk. I just feel like I don't know about y'all, but I grew up listening to Our Voices with Bev Smith, and every Sunday morning I would watch her religiously. And there would be different type of black voices on there, so everybody wouldn't be in agreement. There was a time when black folks could be at opposite ends and still sit down and break bread and talk about it over their coffee or whatever they did on Our Voices. And Bev would ask those hard questions. But I just feel like at some point, we have to be able to do that. You know what I mean? We have to be able to look and see what's really going to be good for us, not how we feel. Because I'm past the feeling. You know how back in the day when you was young, you had to be in love with somebody in order to be with them. Then you get to a certain part, you be like, dude, this dude got a job, he got retirement on his side. Like, you looking at all the shit because you've been on your own for about 30, 40 years. You should have some of this shit by now. I can't be with somebody who's in love with being in love and they living in a matchbox. That's not gonna work for me. Like, I have to see what has been your track record. And I'm gonna say when I was
Everybody's expectations and standards are different, and that's
Yeah.
what people have to realize. Everybody have different expectations, different standards, and different boundaries. We're
Yeah.
not all the same. Some
We're not.
people expect a lot of they mate, and some people just expect to mate.
Now
There's a
that's real
difference.
talk. That's real talk.
So it's all
And
about
some people just want
expectations and
to.
standards.
Some people just want to mate, and then they
That's
may
it.
kill. Then they may
That's it.
kill the
That's
person
all.
they made it with after they finish. No, I'm just kidding. What animal do that? They kill a lover after they finish. It's like
Thank
an
you,
animal.
Trey, and thank you, Tina. I love y'all discussions. Tracy said, "I love this forum. Love you, ladies, or what you're doing." Tasha said, "Okay, I could be misunderstanding this forum, but what I believe the conversation is about how to have forward-thinking conversations. How do we affect change? We have identified the problems, but how do we change it? Our history is being buried. How do we unearth it and champion it?" I just wanted to understand the position. Thanks. Everything that you unearthed it by talking about it. You can't sweep it underneath
Yeah.
the rug. You got to keep sharing it with your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors, everybody. And we have to have discussions about our life and as black people, because we're unlike any other group of people on the earth. African
Say that.
Americans are totally different, and we have to talk about things that are directly impacting our community. Like this presidential debate is going to heavily impact our community if we put the wrong motherfucking office. We have to talk about sex trafficking. We have to talk about male predators and female predators. It's certain things that we as black people have to talk about because it's jacking up our communities. I'm out sometimes at night helping look for missing girls. We have got to talk about the unprotected black women and young girls. I get calls almost every other night about missing black girls, and we out 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Those are subjects that we like to gloss over because we feel like we have made it in America. We feel like we have degrees and we have homes and we have made it. And meanwhile, there will be no black people because we're not reproducing, and our women are being killed off all the fucking time. And the
Every
men are
five
now
and a
wearing
half
skirts and
hours.
nail polishes and thinking they're a woman. So we have to have discussions. And that's this forum is just to make you think. I ain't trying to change your opinion. Just to give a different perspective and think about it, look at it a different way. Without marriage, our communities are unprotected. Okay, peace. So anyway, that's what the purpose of this forum is, to get
I
you
agree.
thinking about and to give you a different perspective and think about and to I'll learn things from y'all comments that y'all put in here when you make sense, not when you're trying to give me your fucking history lesson. I tune that right on out because I know my history. Go teach it to your kids, teach it to
I
your
lived
community.
it.
Go
I
get a
lived
forum and
it.
do it. We walking. Every black person on this earth is walking black history.
That's
If
right.
you dig into your ancestors' background, we are walking history. We are walking magic. We are walking. We don't look like Author Angela Marie Holmes is on here. She got a book. I like what I've been through. That's real. We don't look like shit we've been through as black people in
That's real
America.
talk. That's real
That's
talk.
why people think we don't need no help. We look like we're doing great because we clean up very
You
well.
sick as
We
hell.
are hurting ass people, and we got a
Yes, he
fucked up
is.
community, and we got a lot of tragedy happening, a lot of bad things happening in our community, and so we really teach the babies, not the elders. Teach everybody.
Teach
And some
everybody. That's what I'm
old
talking
people
about.
need to
That's
be
the
schooled too.
bullshit.
Because old people need to be schooled too because they would just keep perpetuating bullshit. So yeah, everybody and elders are
And
different than old people.
and elders also impact the young. Because I'm here because I was impacted by an elder. You
And
see
you
how that
can't throw away
works?
your old people. And you can't throw
Well,
away your because
that's not
regardless
African,
if they don't
honey.
have
That
yeah,
may
and
be some
regardless if
indigenous
they
shit
don't
there.
if regardless if you don't think they know what you think they should know, they have something to contribute because they wouldn't be an elder on this fucking earth. So they done been through something that they're still here and surviving. Okay, so you can't throw away the elders. That don't
Yeah.
even make no sense. Like,
But see,
where
that
are you
tells me
from?
that
Like,
tell me there's something
what
wrong
the
with that
hell?
person. But that when you don't respect your elders, I can't get with you. That means you have no respect for the past. I can't fuck with you. But let me just say this: this year at the Men of Honors in December, we're going to at the same time have. I work with Michael B today. We're going to be having
I got the ego. I love it.
a black men's health and wellness check.
Black men.
Because I forgot what it's called, but it's gonna be healthy. They be able to get checkups, and we want to know the whole man's body. We look at the top 5 leading causes, and it's everything from getting your ears checked, getting your teeth checked, because teeth tell you a lot about the person's health. I didn't really even know that. Throat, blood pressure check, mental health. We got the whole thing laid out. You see it on there, and we worked all that out today. And I just was like, yeah. So I just feel like, see, that's revolutionary. If we can get some black men to go get checked up before cancer hit them or before they get sick. How do we do that? That's revolutionary.
Or that heart attack or that stroke come because you ain't got that back tooth pulled.
Right. You better say
this
it,
is an unedited. This is an unedited, authentic, and courageous conversation. Thank you, Tasha. Peace said, elders don't listen. They are stuck in their way. I can only learn from them. Okay, I'm happy for you. Tasha said, we cannot skip generations. We need to educate them too. Post-traumatic slavery is still an issue. This is not true. Elders listen too. The messaging has to be different. You have to address every audience crafted to them. Absolutely.
I think elders don't listen.
And only people that are unteachable are dead. Only people that are unteachable are dead. As long as you got breath in your body, you are able to learn something new. Period. And you're right. It depends. If you come and talking down to an elder, trying to tell them history, and they live through this shit, no, they're not listening. I lived through it. You can't come tell me about a history I lived in and you 24 or some shit. Like, sit down. You're going to tell me about the 60s and I was in the 60s. Sometimes the new conscious people are so deep that they're rude and they're ignorant. They are so deep that they're rude, they're arrogant, and they're ignorant. Because you're trying to be so damn deep that you don't even make no sense sometimes, and you exclude other people with stupid comments.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. So with that being said, that's the final message of the day. Don't be rude, because you may get an interlude. I'm trying to
and
rap.
I'm gonna tell this everybody. Y'all know I end all my stuff. Do something special for yourself on purpose because you deserve it. Straight up. You can't strip them of their experiences on this land. They experienced it worse. Tasha, thank you. That's why I go back to that funeral. That's why I was irritated, because they told a group for the elders to shut up.
Yeah.
And that had me hot as I couldn't even get over that shit. I was
because you was hot as fish grease.
I was, because elders are the reason why we're here. Even those that did the work, that didn't do the work, they are the reason why we are here and be able to do what we do for our elders.
All I know
some of our elders. So yeah, you can't never disrespect the elders.
I needed a tambourine.
Need a
That's
tambourine.
What I know. That genetic memory popped up.
Good night, y'all. Have a good evening. Looking forward to next week. Thank you for tuning in, Tina, and peace to all the gods and the goddesses on the earth. No,
peace.
I'll see y'all next week.
Holla.